Hi, I'm Linda with Hawaii Life.
Hi everyone. Meena na 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 na. So we're going to talk a little bit about kind of why it matters who you work with. Are they working for you, or are they just paper pushing, right? Anybody can write a contract, anybody can originate a loan, but I think there's a lot more depth associated with being a mortgage loan consultant, loan officer, whatever you want to call it, and also being a real estate agent, right? What sets you apart as far as what services you offer your clients?
I always tout that you will get 100% honesty from me. I always make sure to go above and beyond and cross my T's and dot my I's or vice versa, which is why it's so imperative to work with someone who has the same mindset and somebody who really cares. And, we don't work 9 to 5 jobs, much to the dismay of our families.
Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's just not the way that it works.
But I think it's important to mention there are people who set pretty strict boundaries. I will say, like, I have 2 little kids, and so on the weekends, I do like to communicate, like, be considerate of the people that you work with. You know that they're giving you 100% every time, right? If it's the weekend, Linda knows I'm probably going to gymnastics and swimming and Tahitian and all kinds of other activities that we have every weekend, but she's only going to reach out to me if she really needs me.
True.
Right?
Yep.
So, and I think as long as you have that understanding with your team, and same with the borrowers, like I'm pretty transparent with them. Weekends are a lot more difficult for me to be super on it. I will respond. If it's an emergency, please call me. Basic courtesy, right?
Yeah, which isn't had by all. No. Trust me, it's not. I mean, and I enjoy what I do. Meena enjoys what she does. Like, for real, it's more than a job. For me, I can speak for myself, but just know that we do give 150%. Yeah. If she calls me on the weekend, I know it's an emergency.
Yeah. But she's selling herself short. I think there's a lot, like, I don't want to seem cliche, but like, truly, there's whether it's a realtor or a loan officer, there's somebody who's like, hi, what's your name? What are you looking for? 3-bedroom, 2-bath, great. And here's your loan amount, qualifications, buy. It's so much more than that, right? Especially today with the high prices and the high interest rates. Buying a home, period, is going to be the biggest investment that you've ever made in your life, and it will continue to be, but even more so now. The amount of commitment that you're making by deciding to purchase a home in today's market, and it'll probably continue to go up from here, but it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of pressure, and it's a lot of commitment. It's all of that, and you have to work with somebody who really can relate or at least empathize with the fact that we understand the type of commitment that you're making right now and how important and serious this decision is. So yes, we're going to joke with you. Yes, we're going to laugh with you. But the bottom line is, super important decision. It's not just surface level. It's, do you have kids? Do you have pets? Oh, pets. How are we going to get the pets to Hawaii? Yeah,
yes,
that's a whole nother topic.
Yep.
But what's your age range? How close is retirement? Like, there's so many different things questions that you have to ask your clients in order to really determine what's the right home for them. For me, it's like, yes, you may qualify for this amount, but based on what you've told me with your 2 kids in private school, I think this should be your amount, right? Yep. There's a lot of things that come up in conversation. If you're not willing to have the conversation, you're never going to know. But you have to work with somebody who has a good understanding of who you are, what you're looking for, what your priorities are in life, and then help you kind of navigate whether that's the home, like the area that you want to live, or being close to a certain school, or whatever the situation is, right? Everybody's situation is different. But being able to sit down and actually it's a consultative thing. It's not just here's your number, or here's your property, here's your purchase contract. That's easy to do,
right?
And it takes time, and it takes energy, and it takes commitment from my part and on Linda's part. So the reason why we bring this up is we both have had many transactions in our career when we work with people who don't share the same vision. You have to understand it's a team effort, all the way from the beginning to when you're starting the pre-approval process, to starting the home search process, all the way to getting keys, right? Yep. You can tell your own lender stories, but like, from a lender's standpoint, it's not, we didn't even talk about knowledge, experience and knowledge in the industry too. Like
Right.
that's a big deal. That's a big part of being able to find the right place for you. But I have worked with a lot of agents where, well,
I can't wait to hear this.
let me caveat that. Like, there are very smooth transactions that exist. All I did was like my bare minimum job. This loan closed. Hooray. Those are far and few in between, though. I'd say almost, I don't know, at least 50% of transactions will have something come up of varying degrees. But something comes up where you're going to have to lift a finger or two, or a hand, or an arm, or body, whatever
Right.
that is. But you have to be able to coordinate and have the foresight to understand that these are the things that could go wrong
Right.
in a transaction, whether it's property specific, buyer specific, seller specific, whatever it is. There's so many different things that could potentially be outside of the box of a very smooth transaction. We always hope for a smooth transaction.
Right.
But the reality is something usually comes up and you have to be able to navigate that. I've worked with agents who are not as proactive and kind of kick the can down the road until they have to deal with it. And those are the transactions that get really delayed, or we get to a point where it actually kills the deal.
Yep.
But you have to be proactive, and you have to be not just in your actions, but being able to see what issues are about to arise, basically.
Yep.
And that's probably really confusing for the viewers without having specific examples. But do you have any?
I think as an agent, it's so important and actually critical to be able to see, okay, we're going down this path, but we could go here, which would then be if then, the old computer.
Yeah.
So, and it's so important to understand that and then to communicate that to you as well. Because
And your buyers or sellers.
absolutely,
It's like letting them know that you have options.
Right.
It's my job to present those options to you, and it's ultimately your decision to make. But
Right.
I need you to know that you have options, and this is what your options are, and these are the consequences of each.
Yeah.
In order to be able to make the decision, right?
And you're really good at communicating. I mean, from the get-go to, hey, this could be a problem. Hey, I see this. It might be a problem, but pretty sure we can take care of it. So that for me, that is such a great quality. And I know for buyers as well to know and just be prepared because.
Right. Setting expectations is everything.
Yeah.
Right.
And not everybody does that. I'm just going to let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it happens and we have to deal with it, at least you were prepared for it, right? But if it doesn't happen, yay, right? We got past this milestone and it didn't come up.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you one just recent thing that had happened was these buyers came to me with already had their lender, and it was a mainland lender, but I did make sure that they were licensed to lend in Hawaii. I went over the law of his own thing, even though it wasn't a thing, but came down to CLA, conditional loan approval letter, and this particular lender didn't provide them. They had no idea what I was talking about. Oh, we don't do that. So then I had to get them to do that because it is part of the contract and we do have to provide that. And then what ended up happening was we came to closing and they had the dates confused. So even though we had a close date, they didn't understand that we had the Good Funds Act, and they were then scrambling to get the loan clear to close.
Sure. Final loan approved. Clear to
Yeah,
close.
final loans. Yeah. So it was kind of a little bit of a nightmare. And if it was a super competitive situation, which thankfully it wasn't, it really could have put us in a bad situation. But if everything closed and it was fine, but just those types of things, communicating, that particular lender didn't communicate with me at all. I felt like I was being a nag. That is my job. And that is not what happens with Meena, because if I text her 9 times out of 10, she will get right back to me.
Can we make that 10 times out of 10?
10 times out of 10.
Is there a 1 out of 10 times I don't get back to you?
No, honestly, she always does get back to me. Yeah.
No, but that's a mainland lender thing. Like, just because, like, I know in California, they have loan contingency that they have to satisfy, which means they cannot back out of the contract after they sign the loan contingency based on financing related things.
Yep.
But they don't have a CLA or FLA kind of thing. So that's specific to Hawaii, right? Just knowing the nuances of the Hawaii market and the Hawaii contract and all that stuff. But not just at the very end, which is the worst, the 11th hour, sorry, we can't do the loan or whatever. But from the very beginning, Lava Zone 2, this is the only type of financing we can do. Do they qualify, right? I mean, there's just a lot of kind of footwork that we do up front based on when you say, you know, Bob Smith is interested in this property. And I look up the property and I say, okay, here's the things that I see, right?
Right.
So
Yep.
I will just end this with saying, like, you don't know what you don't know. I can't give you enough examples of other
Right.
transactions that went wrong. And it may be that your transaction goes smashingly. You find a property, vanilla loan product, you're a vanilla borrower, done. Where the real skills and the value of who you work with comes into play is when it doesn't go smoothly.
Right.
And it's difficult to convey that to somebody when they're not in a position where something has gone wrong.
Right.
So really important to work with somebody who has your best interest in mind, who has knowledge and experience in the market that you're purchasing in, period.
Yeah. I will say I did have one person call me one time and she was a buyer and she said, well, I just need you to write the contract. Everything's, like it's a done deal. Like, you know, just write the contract and that'll be it. And I should get a discount because I already found my property. And again, it's like, you don't know what you don't know, but it actually got me on a day where I was like, okay, this is a teachable moment. And I literally broke down everything and told her exactly what happens from like termite inspections, home inspections. I'm there for everything. And I actually calculated out my commission for her. And then she realized that it's not just writing a contract.
Yeah, and I don't want to get into the whole NAR thing, but like that's
Oh, yeah,
what
that's
you
the thing.
guys are gonna have to do that. And
Yeah.
it's something that as a loan officer I've had to do since I started in the industry.
Right.
I don't have the best rates in the industry. I can't. If you go online, you're gonna see Kansas Bank of Omaha or Kansas Bank. I don't know. There's a lot of online lenders who have some really incredible rates. Well, you're gonna get what you pay for.
Right.
And I think that's the whole story, like the wrap up of all of this. You're going to get what you pay for. So
Right.
you're not going to get your phone answered, your text answered, your email answered in a timely manner over the weekend or whatever when you actually really need them. And you're not going to get the consultative piece. You're not going to get the insight. You're not going to get, they're going to work for what they're getting paid for. Right. So,
Right.
I mean, it's as much as people want a good deal and as much as people want the lowest rate, I get it. I do. And I don't work for free. You
Right.
don't work for free. Right. And if we counted up the number of hours that we spent with someone from the time that they're pre-approved to the time that they actually find a property and close, guaranteed you guys are getting a deal. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. We don't have to get into that, but it's a thing. Like as a buyer, there are fees associated with professional services. I think that's the best way to put it, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're going to pay it, find somebody to work with that is on the same page as you, has the same vision as you, has the same interests as you. And yeah.
I was just going to say, I helped some buyers just recently buy a condo. They were paying cash. I just have to say that.
Always has to say that.
Yeah,
you don't have to say that.
I know. Well, I do. I feel bad. But they were paying cash, but they bought in Hilo, and I just did my normal thing, right? And he kept texting back, and he's like, "Wow, Linda, thank you for working on the weekend. Wow, Linda, this is so easy." Wow. And I was just like, I almost wanted to look up and see who their agent was on the Hilo side because I just thought, what are they not doing, or what am I doing that is prompting this person to actually acknowledge that I responded to him on a Saturday afternoon?
Yeah. Conclusion is that
you get what you pay for.
Yeah, you get what you pay for.